PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.
Hello and welcome to PharmaVentures Insights here at Genesis 2016 in London. On the show today I have Kurt Hertogs of JLINX, the head of JLINX in fact. Kurt, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So JLINX, that's a new name in the J&J innovation franchise, if you like. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about that and where it fits into the bigger scheme.
Yeah, indeed. JLINX is a new investment and incubation model, and it's indeed the latest tool in the bigger toolbox of J&J Innovation. The tool aims to identify and nurture early stage innovation, bring investable capital to the table and leverage the expertise of Johnson Johnson in helping these early stage ventures in advancing their assets.
And are you based here in London or affiliated with London or Europe? Whereabouts is it based?
I'm affiliated with the Johnson Johnson Innovation Center here in London, where I spent 3 years myself. But during that tenure we developed the JLINX model. But the JLINX model itself is operated from Belgium, where we are capitalizing on the historical R&D expertise that Janssen and J&J have built out from the Belgian R&D side.
Right. So I've heard similar things about J&J Innovation and J Labs and innovation hubs. And what's different about JLINX?
Well, the biggest difference with regard to JLINX is that we invest in companies. So we aim to incubate early stage innovation, and you can do incubation without direct financial investment, or you can do incubation with direct investment. And the JLINX model aims to directly invest into these companies.
And because you're investing, does that mean there are some strings attached? 'Cause I know the other J&J models it's a capability that we bring to the table and people can access it. Is that the same or?
I would not call it strings attached actually, but obviously you do a financial investment, but it's very important to underline that the JLINX investment model actually does not claim commercial rights in the end or options to do business transactions. Mm-hmm. You do a financial investment, you bring investable money to the table with the aim to build a broader syndicate. So we also want to leverage the investable money from other investors. And really J&J is not looking for commercial rights through this model in the early stage innovation. What we aim to do is to learn more about the opportunity, to work with the entrepreneurs and the innovators, learn on how that asset potentially is moving forward. And if we do that well, we will also develop a very good relationship, a very good understanding with the entrepreneur. And the hope is that in the future, when the asset is really mature, you can still proceed to a business transaction. But there will be no seeking of commercial rights or options from the beginning of the investment.
So anybody that's an investee company, they're free to go off and do a deal with somebody else at some point if they wanted to.
Absolutely. The philosophy is really indeed the entrepreneur or the CEO of the company should be free to go wherever he or she wants in the future. But we obviously invest, we want to help these people, and you hope that later on you can develop a transaction out of it. And in the worst case, when they would go another direction, which can be perfectly possible for strategic reasons or for other choices, J&J at least would recuperate a part or hopefully more than its initial financial investment. Yeah.
So is it focused around J&J's areas of interest, or are you agnostic to that?
The starting point is obviously that we aim and look for opportunities that align with the strategic areas of interest of J&J. But actually also here, because it's a very early stage model, we are also mandated to look at adjacencies, very transformational innovation, which potentially could be strategic avenues or strategic areas of interest for the future for Johnson Johnson. So you start with a focus, but we can look a little bit broader.
What are those areas currently? Where are you looking right now, that things that really matter to J&J?
Well, what really matters these days, and which is also weaving into the JLINX model, is some focus or some attention or particular attention to the microbiome field, which typically crosses multiple therapeutic areas. And so on top of the interest in oncology, immunology, neuroscience, metabolics or infectious disease, we're really looking for microbiome opportunities as well. And actually I was attending the European Microbiome Conference here yesterday as well. We had a very interesting pitch session with young entrepreneurs, and we selected a few good cases that could become investable cases.
That's certainly a very hot area, and within that there are different avenues. There's microbiome as therapeutic entities in their own right. There's sort of readjusting the innate microbiome and other areas that it can have an effect. Is there a particular focus for J&J right now?
I would not call it a focus At this moment, we are looking at one opportunity that has a pharmaceutical application as the longer term horizon, and we are looking at an opportunity that has more a consumer horizon, which I cannot comment on right now. But obviously, when you go to the pharmaceutical side of things, you quickly end up in metabolics, diabetes, and any gut-related diseases, obviously, where we aim to have impact through investing in microbiome-related companies.
So let me ask you a wider question, because we've seen a huge amount of activity around immuno-oncology. Do you think we're going to see the same in microbiome and its applicability?
Yeah, I think so. I probably not tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I think there's still a lot of information building, knowledge gathering that needs to happen. That became very clear from the scientific body of the conference yesterday as well. But it's clearly that the field is moving at a very fast pace, and no doubt that there will be impact in the not so distant future, no doubt.
Right. So let me talk a little bit about, if you come across somebody comes in front of you with a great idea, and it's a great piece of interesting science, but they maybe don't have the experience or the capabilities. It's the A-grade idea, but maybe not an A-grade team, and often it's said that investors like an A-grade team, and they'll take a B-grade idea because they know they can get to an endpoint and be successful. Are you adhering to that model, or can you bring in other capabilities to turn an A-grade idea with some infrastructure into an A team as well?
Well, I certainly do believe that the far most important criterion should be very good science, transformational science, and the first thing we will be looking for is, can the scientists that we're meeting, can they infect other scientists and make them passionate about their ideas as well. If that criterion is fulfilled, we will start building, and that's exactly why the JLINX model has been developed as well. At that moment we start defining, okay, we have scientific excitement around the table here. What is the initial plan looking like? Can we bring people around the table that can look at a plan, that can make the plan better? And if we have the plan, what are the gaps that we identify, and what are the things that we still have to bring to the table, either through the help of J&J or through the network of J&J? Because very often you can tap into that network, which just extends you to other experts across the globe. Typically we do that for CROs, which are highly specialized, where J&J is already working with, but which are typically not immediately on the radar of small startups or young entrepreneurs.
So I think it's quite clear where JLINX starts to get involved with people and ideas. Where does it progress from there? So you've brought something through and you've added to it. What happens then? Does it go into J Labs or somewhere else in J&J? Or?
Well, that's a very good question, and actually there's a little story to tell there. Actually, before JLINX existed, we did one experiment with one of the winners of the One Start competition a few years ago. We actually brought that team to the campus in Belgium because we believed they really had a very good innovation. And actually we were doing kind of JLINX avant la lettre at the moment, or at that time. And it's interesting to know that that company is still alive, is growing, and actually made a transition to the US and is currently in the Boston area active, and also looking for an affiliation with J Labs. So that definitely is one of the avenues. Typically, JLINX indeed hopes that the companies grow and mature, and then take their next steps in their life cycle. So it's not, the model is not aimed to keep these companies on the Belgian campus of J&J, definitely not. We hope that these companies continue their trajectory, either through a business affiliation then with J&J or any other direction. And
we're here at Genesis, a UK conference. So what's your role here? What are you trying to achieve here?
Well, as said in the beginning, I'm affiliated to the London Innovation Centre. I spent here also 3 years. I've been intensively building a network of contacts, not only in the UK, Scotland, Wales, England, any place that is active in life science actually in the UK, but also throughout Europe. And yeah, well, coming to London and to the UK is not such a big deal doing that from Belgium, so it's a good opportunity to reconnect with many of the relationships that I've been building. Actually, we continue to look for good innovation as well, which typically can emerge from the UK, and maybe one of these opportunities could be incubated on the Belgian campus as well, because as I said, the distance between Belgium and the UK is absolutely not that big.
Of course, of course. And we hear a lot about the J&J innovation model and other aspects of it. I think Johnson Johnson is very good at promoting this. Do you see other companies copying you? Are they trying to do the same thing?
Yeah, and I think that's normal, and that's also not bad. I think obviously one needs to take the first step, and I think we can proudly say that J&J really has made that first step. Whether we are really copied or not, I think people realize, and that is probably the biggest achievement of having set that step, is that people realize that starting to build connections across the globe, trying to appreciate that innovation can emerge everywhere, and that you have to activate the life science ecosystems globally to accelerate all that innovation, that's going to make the difference in the future for the pharmaceutical sector, but for the life science sector in general.
And it's not all altruism. It sounds great. I mean, but J&J does want to make money out of this. Does it have to generate revenues, or?
Yeah, absolutely. J&J, like any company that is being established, has a business model and needs to make money. And I truly do believe that through the contributions of J&J Innovation, the model, the network, all the collaborators and partners, we will create intrinsic value for society. And if we do that, we also create value and economical return for Johnson & Johnson.
Well, Kurt, it sounds like JLINX is an excellent addition to the J&J family. I wish you every success in finding some great science and bringing it forward.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure being here. Thanks
for joining us.
PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.